Blog Talk Radio.
This episode of Video Marketing Madness is made possible by Vidneos. Vidneos is the video marketing platform that allows you to not only create videos, but also to market your videos and search your competition. To learn more, head on over to raisebonuses.com/Vidneos. That's Vidneos.
N as in Nancy. N as in Nancy.
N as in Nancy. That is correct.
Neos. Okay. Vidneos. Okay.
That is right.
All right.
And on today's show, we've got a very special guest, Ely Delaney, and he's here. He's going to talk to us about how to use video as a follow-up tool.
Oh,
She's Ray the video guy, yeah, Ray the video guy. His skill is where it's at, even if he's a little fat. He's filled with video expertise and has so much knowledge that you need. His YouTube ninja tricks can make your marketing so sick. He's Ray the video guy, yeah, Ray the video guy.
It's the online marketing radio show, Video Marketing Madness with Ray the Video Guy, and I'm Steve Sleeper. You can like our Facebook page. This is the fan page for the radio show, facebook.com/Video Marketing Madness, and get plenty of useful tips and news of the week. And then Ray's Facebook mastermind groups is groups/online video marketers. You can get views for your videos and questions answered. We're live Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern. Join the conversation at 818-369-1423. Ray's video marketing tip of the week is coming up at the end of the show. Our guest today is Ely Delaney. He's going to talk to us about how to use video as a follow-up tool with people you network with to build lasting relationships and other stuff. How you doing, Ely?
I'm doing awesome. How are you guys doing today?
Yeah. Oh, living the dream. Living the dream. I'm trying to get for years it's always been can't complain, and I've been trying to get a new catchphrase. So
well, you use the whole can't complain thing. Nobody's going to listen to the complaining part anyway. So, yeah, definitely got to find something different. My rule of thumb is when somebody says, "So how's it going?" It's like, it's awesome. It's really exciting. And then they're like, "Okay, well, what are you on?" And so it starts a real good conversation.
Yeah,
See, people ask me, "Hey, how you doing?" I say, "I am just luscious."
Luscious.
I love that one. That's good.
Thanks for sharing. Lou Holtz once said that don't complain. 80% don't care. 20% are glad you got the problem. So
that's good. I like it.
Yeah. Otherwise, I can't understand anything Lou Holtz says. But it's always like this. Lou Holtz, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right. Impressions with Steve.
I'm high all right, but not on false drugs. I'm high on the real thing, a shoe shine and a full tank of gasoline. News of the week.
There was your segue, folks. That's what we call a segue.
That was really good.
Well, let's hear a little bit of news, because I know there's a few items out there.
Yeah. Do you have anything this week?
I do.
Okay.
Yes.
That's good, because I've only got a couple stories. It's just, I don't know. I pay attention to it every day and post it on the Facebook group, or the fan page, the Facebook fan page. Okay.
Yes.
This is from realseo.com, your favorite site, and mine too. Let's see. Music, Minecraft, movies, the most searched for keywords on YouTube. And
and that was actually one of the stories I was going to bring up too. So that's perfect.
Well, the Minecraft was number 2, but the rest of them were, music and movies. Okay, that's pretty generic. Drake and Beyonce. Okay, I guess that's a little more specific. Frozen and Happy. Well, Frozen is a little, but Minecraft. That's just amazing. I mean, it's a gaming.
Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah.
I teach Sunday school, so I see lots of young kids, and that's what all of them do, including my kids.
Yeah.
Well, and there's just FYI, there's a whole bunch of very, very large adult kids that are still into Minecraft as well. We're not even talking like, the 18, 19. We're talking the 29, 30, even going on 40. I know a few of those as well that they're still pretty hardcore into it.
Oh yeah, our buddy Pat Flynn, he had a guy on the radio who is, I think he was probably in his 40s or whatever, and he makes a full-time living just doing Minecraft videos and things like that. And and he said, the main reason he had him on is because his son, Pat's son, likes Minecraft. And, his son's pretty little, but likes Minecraft, and so the two of them play it together, and they kind of, they started following this guy who did these trainings on Minecraft, and it comes to find out this guy is a big Pat Flynn fan who listens to Pat Flynn's show, and so he had him on the air. But yeah, he's a 40-some-year-old guy, and that's what he does for a living. He plays Minecraft and makes videos, so it's not surprising at all.
Be an okay way to make a living.
It would be. I don't quite understand it all that well. I find it kind of boring a little bit when I'm forced into it. But yeah, I mean, my 16-year-old and my 10-year-old both love it. So
yeah, I'm not a big time gamer. My daughter, my 18-year-old daughter used to be, and then when she got older, I don't know, she just kind of lost interest. So although I don't know. I mean, when they're over at her friend's house, I guess they do play.
Now, the one thing about this story here from Real SEO, the number one search term was music.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how many people go on and search the word music?
Well, yeah. It said
I can understand. I believe Drake. I believe that's a musician, correct?
I think so.
Stupid, but I believe that's the case there.
Yeah.
So I can understand somebody searching Beyonce or Drake or Billy Joel or whatever it happens to be. There's a crew for you right there. But I don't know, maybe they're saying music in the keywords, maybe they're typing in Drake music and so-and-so music or whatever, but it just seems kind of funny that the word music itself would be the most searched word, unless it's in a phrase.
236 million searches.
Well, and here's the thought with that, too, is that definitely the phrase would make a big difference. But on top of that, somebody may just have their phone or their tablet, and they're like, okay, I need to listen to some music. So they're just typing in music. There's a lot of people, especially as an older generation that isn't quite as search savvy as some of us that are, natural geeks. And so that's what I would think with it, is that there's a possibility they're saying, okay, I want to listen to some music. Well, what do? Let me just see if I can search for music. And that's literally what they're doing.
Yep. And like I said, I mean, it doesn't, the Minecraft thing, my 10-year-old, and we have to be very careful with this too, because not all Minecraft videos are made by people with the same morals.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So you have to be a little bit careful, but both of these 16 and a 10-year-old, they'll watch, if they get 10 minutes of free time, they'll watch Minecraft videos.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's crazy. So I'm not surprised at all, but yeah. And Happy, I believe that's a song, correct? So that's also a music thing. And Frozen, obviously, is the movie.
Happy by the Rolling Stones, 1972?
No, it's
Pharrell.
Yeah, this is how old I am.
Is that his name?
Pharrell, I think.
I think so.
I'm not.
The guy that's on
the
NBC TV show. I think he's the one who sings it. But
he's the dude that wears Arby's Mountie hats.
Yes, he does. He wears the hats.
Mm-hmm.
And I could be wrong. I think Redhead Express did a cover of it as well.
Oh, okay. I did see that.
Yeah,
okay, now I know
the playlist of that one that was released yesterday. So
yeah. Okay.
There you go. Very popular song. And actually, it's funny. You notice in this list, Frozen has 11.7 million. It's number 6. Happy has 58 million. Is number 7. So I'm not sure exactly how they number these things, but yeah, the numbers seem to be a little skewed.
Redheaded Express, for those of you who don't know, if you're in the Ray's Mastermind group, you probably know who they are, but it's an interesting story. Daryl Eves, who was a top YouTube guy and a good friend of Ray's and mine, they came to him. They're 4 sisters from Alaska, all redheaded?
Yep.
They kind of do the, I don't know, what do you call it, the modern country thing, sort of, kind of. And they wanted to break into Nashville, and they kind of went in the back door via YouTube, and got a record contract that way.
And I believe they are actually in Tennessee now. So
are they? Okay,
I believe so. It's a good story, YouTube-related success story there. But there you go, your most searched terms: movies, music, and Minecraft.
Yeah, cool. Okay, this is from Search Engine Watch. Google Maps update makes cities more searchable. Google's new updates to its Maps app allow for more control for business owners, along with more efficient restaurant searches and shareable directions. It's the Android update. Will now let business owners claim their listing pages to manage their information on Maps. Make it easier to target restaurants based on food type. Filter restaurants based on cuisine.
Indeed. Well, that's good. I love any of that kind of stuff. Well, one, it deals with food, so I like it. But anything that deals with local businesses and helping them out, I think is a great thing. I love that. So.
And also Android. You love Android.
I do. I love Android.
Okay, we're being facetious.
Actually, I don't love or dislike it. I don't really know it very well anymore. So.
You're an iPhone guy. You're a Mac guy.
I am.
Just like my wife is a Mac gal. She's got an iPhone, and I think she's got the same Mac as you do. I think we talked about one time. So
could be.
Okay, searchenginewatch.com. Google opens its domain registration service doors. I think we talked about this a few months back. They were going to start.
I remember this.
Yeah. It's U.S. only, but you can register a domain with Google.
Yep.
So,
wonder if they give you any special benefits.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Do you think that if you register your domain through Google, you'll get better rankings automatically? Are they going to throw that into the algorithm?
As long as you follow the AdWords, Bible.
Yeah.
Do everything by the book.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think any of I've got all landing pages, so they're not going to rank no matter.
Yeah, they hate you already.
They hate me already. So. And actually, I'm not looking to rank, so I've got them there for other reasons.
Right.
So anyhow, what you got? Anything else, Ray?
I do. And speaking of landing pages, this is another one from Real SEO. Videos on product pages lead to higher conversions. There's a shocker, isn't it?
Oh.
We've only been saying that for a couple of years, right?
Mm-hmm.
So by including a video as part of a product landing page,
yes,
you can see orders go up by about 50%.
Oh.
And that's well documented, so that's a good thing for us to keep in mind when we're talking to local businesses and people that we're trying to work with is, hey, you want to improve it 50%, let's put a video.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you right now, I see it all the time because I'm always reviewing products and checking products out. And when I've got a landing page for a product, usually it's a bonus page, and I put a video on there that has a review or something of that nature, it does better. It definitely does.
Yeah.
As long as the products are, fairly equally good, it actually converts better.
Yeah, well, that's good. That article's there, and it's good to have that number to back it up from a sales standpoint. If you're out there trying to, convince them to put a video on their homepage, that's good.
Yep. So the big takeaway on it is not only did it have higher conversions, but the average order value actually was up higher on the pages that had the video as opposed to those, and it was like almost double. It was $300 per order versus $177 for the page without it. So it literally almost doubled their sales because of that. So there you go.
Cool.
Can't beat that.
Question for you guys on this. What do you think as far as the type of video? Should it be more like a demo type video or adding in like testimonials from customers and that kind of thing? Would that actually be more effective or a combination of both?
I think it varies based on product, and actually it leads into another story I'm going to talk about in a second here, but the thing is that, if it's a physical product, I think it needs to have that physical demo that hey, look at this product, look at it in action. When it's more of a less tangible thing, a training, a tool, then I think a lot of times the video sales letter type thing works a lot better because you're selling a concept instead of an actual product.
Right.
So there's a lot of differences with that. And if it's if it's something that requires a lot of info, then you can do well with the whiteboard style video and things like that. So I think it varies depending on that. And different products just kind of lend themselves to it more than others. For me, when I'm doing software and things like that, the demo seems to work really well. Just showing how it works, demoing it, and even the other one that I like to do is like the insider look videos for certain things as well. And that's when there's like memberships involved, so you can kind of see the inside. And, I think it just varies. I really do.
Right. Very cool.
Yeah.
And that leads into another story. Did you guys hear about the #1 moneymaker on YouTube last year?
No.
Yeah, it's a YouTuber who made, it surprised me it was as low as it was, but the #1 person made $5 million directly off of YouTube last year. And all it was open box videos of Disney products. That's it.
Wow. So
literally they would open the box of a Disney product and show it off, and people would watch it. They would buy the product, and they made, I assume that the $5 million was actually through ad revenue, not from affiliate stuff, but I'd be willing to bet they probably did affiliate as well on those products, or at least I hope they would, because they'll make a lot more money that way. But they made $5 million just by doing open box videos. And, much like the Minecraft thing being huge and people not realizing how big it is, open box videos, the simplest of videos, and they do extremely well. Like the people that do the Apple open box videos always do very well. The new iPhone, here, I'm opening it up for the first time and just videotaping me opening up the box. And people love that. They absolutely love it. They want to see, and experience that, that I just got the new product, I'm opening it up. And, it's huge. Absolutely huge.
Timeliness an issue? It's got to be brand new.
I think for some products it definitely should be. Some of them, can last long. And I think when you're talking about Disney products, on a lot of those, maybe it doesn't need to be as timely. I think things like the iPhone would probably, the first person to get the iPhone and open it up, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
so I could see that being a little more timely. But, they do well with those types of things, just these open box. In fact, that's kind of the model I have behind the whole sneak peek thing was, hey, once you buy, here's what you get. Look at the inside. So it's kind of modeled after that, even though it's a little bit of a different experience, but it is modeled after that. And like I said, it does well. And obviously this person doing Disney did quite well, making $5 million. And, the government's quite happy to accept the $2 million from them.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and thinking about it, it's like I just got a new microphone for my podcast, and so I was doing some research on figuring out what's going to be the best choice of what I should be getting. And one of the very first things I did was I went to YouTube and started watching videos. And the mic that I was seriously looking at, I checked out 3 or 4 videos, and the majority of those started from the point of, okay, I just got it. Here's the box. Let me open it up. And they went through what's in the box and how it's packaged and all that kind of stuff before they ever got to a point of here's what it actually sounds like.
Right.
And that's where, I think I probably watched 5 or 6 different videos, and I would say easily 3 to 4 of them were the opening type style.
Nice. And the big question is, what microphone did you get?
I got the Samsung Meteorite, which is the one that is one of the reasons that I actually love it is because it's got a built-in stand. And so I can have it put on my boom stand, which is what I've got it on right now. But let's say I go traveling, literally it has a pouch that it fits in. You fold it up, stick it in the pouch, stick it in my backpack, and I can take it with me, which is great for when I'm traveling because I don't like, obviously like a Yeti or something like that. They're awesome mics. They sound great, but that's a beast. You don't want to be carrying that thing around with you.
No.
Yeah, it is a beast, and I'll tell you, the other thing about it is it's such a beast that you talked about putting it on a boom.
Mm-hmm.
It's too big and heavy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can do it. It's got the screws on the bottom of it, but it's so big and heavy that it pulls the boom down and it doesn't screw the screw's not in the center, so it's kind of off balanced, and it's a little awkward. But it works. But it's I think one of those smaller types of microphones actually are a good bargain for that. For putting it on a boom or even on a folding arm and things like that. Just makes a big difference. So, and you sound very good. So there you go.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah,
I love this thing. It's been great.
Cool.
Nice.
Cool.
Well, the final thing I want to bring up.
Oh, you got something else? Okay.
I do.
Cool.
One
Very
more
good.
thing.
Very good.
Just because we did talk about a minute ago. I mentioned the government taking your money. Well, last night, of course, was the annual How We're Going to Take Your Money convention on TV. And, who was it that got to interview the president after the State of the Union? It was YouTubers.
Yeah, I saw that. My daughter was watching it. I couldn't bring myself to watch it, but yeah.
as I called it last night on Facebook, it was the new edition of The Biggest Loser. But no, I'm just kidding. That's awful. I shouldn't say that.
No, you're not.
But it's amazing to see that the president of the United States is taking the time to go on YouTube afterwards, and that's pretty amazing. And the people that are interviewing him aren't these journalists; they're people on YouTube. So I'm very impressive. Of all the things you could say, or whether you like the president or not, you got to love the fact that he does that.
Well, they are very good at social media. Yeah, I mean they are very, very good at it, and I've read articles that's what won them the last election. So
yeah, I know
there was a lot of talk about it. The number of Facebook followers and the number of Twitter followers, and it was much larger.
Yeah, that's something I want to add to that too. Is that I know originally when he ran the very first time, a lot of his campaign was based around Facebook, around building that relationship with people in general, and that made a huge difference. And then even when he first got elected, I don't know if you guys remember, and I haven't been to the site to even look if it's still this way, but if you went to the White House website, there was an opt-in right there. He's building his list.
Oh, yes.
He's connecting with people. When he starts doing the State of the Union, like last night, he puts them on Google Hangouts. It's like he has totally embraced the social media world to where that has made a huge difference in getting the popularity that he had from the initial get-go.
And of course, let's not fool ourselves. It's obviously not him. But this is the guy who had a BlackBerry when he came in and didn't want to get rid of it. So
right, and
I'm guessing he's not the tech guy, but he's got some very smart people around him.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, I'm still playing the guessing game. I think I have an idea of somebody who originally might have been helping him behind the scenes and not publicly announced it. I don't know. I've never gotten confirmation on it, but I think I have some ideas because it was internet marketing style stuff. It was not your traditional stuff. And I'm like, okay, he had to have connected to somebody who lives in our world.
And I'll tell you, they are prolific emailers.
Yes.
Because I signed up to both campaigns to see what was going on, and those guys email almost every single day. They're emailing something. So they are very, very good at that.
Yeah, I didn't. Just because it pissed me off, so I didn't.
Oh, and don't get me wrong, it did that as well, and the shocking thing is they weren't these positive email type things. They were call to action emails insulting other people and everything. I mean, they were pretty nasty emails.
Yeah.
Wow.
They were like, stop so and so from doing this to destroy this presidency, things like that. I mean, they were pretty. If you want to stop this person from doing this to the president, then click here right now and sign up. They were very, very
well, and I don't like that on either side of the aisle. Let me say that, and that's what I meant by pissing.
Oh yeah, no, I can see that definitely.
It's not just the politics, and I'm conservative. That's how I grew up. My dad was a small businessman. I'm a small businessman, and that's how I view things. Okay, but I just don't like that kind of politics whatsoever. And a number of years ago, and George McGovern was still alive, but I saw an interview with George McGovern and Bob Dole, and they were lamenting the gridlock, and
sure.
McGovern, now keep in mind, these are two World War II heroes, but McGovern said, I can remember we could, we disagree. We were on, other sides of the aisle. We would disagree, but we could find some common ground and go have dinner, and
Tip O'Neill and Ronald Reagan were really good friends.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Don't get much more opposite than those two.
Yeah, no, boy. Okay. So, yeah.
But, and just for the record, going back to the whole YouTube thing and all this, as we're talking, I'm looking at something here. President Obama, your YouTube channel is terrible. It is not optimized. I will be glad to be the person who fixes this for you if you'd like me to, because you don't even have a channel art on there. So just so you know.
Yeah. And you'll charge twice as much. So
I will charge.
Now for something completely different.
600 million. 600 billion. 600 billion.
600 billion.
Actually, I will do it for half the price of the healthcare.gov website. So there you go.
I did get a subsidy this year.
Oh, nice.
I couldn't get into the marketplace last year whatsoever, but I got a pretty hefty subsidy this year. Long story.
Yeah. All I know is my price has doubled. That's all I need to know.
Well, you're doing a lot better. We had a good year last year, but I loaned, it's a long story. I loaned the company a lot of money and I'm paying myself back, which even there is a tax liability, which is making me real happy.
Oh, there you go. The government's always got you, no matter which way you go, no matter who's in charge. You're always going to get something like that. All right, let's get into the meat of the day here because we've got some exciting things to talk about today. And Eli, welcome to the show. This is the official time for you to come in here, so we will welcome you and let people know a little bit about you and what you do, because you are a marketer. And you're taking, at least in this here, we're talking a little bit about something different with video. A lot of times everybody talks about video and they think it's, a product video and we rank it on YouTube on page one and, people click on it and we make money. And that's kind of their extent of video knowledge. But, as we know, video can be a huge benefit to people in so many ways, whether it's ranking to get clicks and sales, or on the back end, thanking people for coming in, or, training videos in a membership site, things like that. But one of the things that you're here to talk about today is videos that are used to build lasting relationships and to be used as follow-up. So could you tell us a little bit about, how you're using them for follow-up and what it's meant to your business?
Okay, yeah. For me, first off, I want to thank you guys for having me on board. This is so much fun. It's a pleasure coming and just hanging out and having a good time, which is the whole point of everything we do, right?
Absolutely.
And I'm a networker. That's how I started. My first business was a web and graphic design company that was over 19 years ago, and I started working for small local businesses, building websites for them. I really had no clue about how to run a business. I knew how to write HTML and play with Photoshop. And so when I did that, I started in the world of networking because I didn't have a budget. So I was going to chambers of commerce and leads groups and things like that. And that's actually how I grew that business to the point where we had an office, 5 employees, and we're closing 3 to 5 contracts a week. We were doing really well with it. And then, of course, I got bored and decided I didn't like doing that anymore, and I migrated into the training side of things, which is what I do now through Your Marketing University, which is my company. And I do training programs teaching other entrepreneurs how to get this stuff out there. But primarily, networking is still the number one way that I think anybody can get out there and market themselves, because let's face it, we all want to do this whole online marketing thing, but it's still, a lot of it has to do with getting customers that are happy, that feel like we actually care about them. So that's one piece of it. We want to get joint venture partners. Well, joint venture partners aren't always about, hey, by the way, there's a product and you're going to make a lot of money. Go pimp my product out there. It's about, hey, how can we help each other out? It's about building relationships. And so we go to conferences and seminars and things like that. And a lot of the most powerful part of that is the networking and the connections you make, not the content you get from the people speaking. Obviously those should be great, but that's not really the big value in it. I know I've gone to conferences, and one of the very first conferences I went to was a big seminar back in 2008, and I got more out of hanging out at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning out front of the hotel with the other guys that were out there partying than I did the content. And the content was awesome. I loved all the speakers, but the connections are what makes a difference. And so we need to follow up with people. We need to build these relationships, and there's all these different types of people. Like I said, our prospects, our customers, our referral partners, or our joint venture partners. Even we're having this conversation right now. Well, this shouldn't end once the show's off. We should still be building that relationship, that friendship. And so I do a lot with email and catching up with people, but video is another amazing tool that you can use for this. And one of the very first things that I would recommend, we all have smartphones. We were talking about the whole Android versus iPhone thing a bit earlier. But what if you meet somebody, you really hit it off, you have a great time, instead of just shooting a standard email to them the next day or whatever, you were to stop and just do a quick little selfie video on your smartphone, and then send it to them as an SMS, basically a text message, or send it to them via Facebook. That one little thing alone, they're like, wow, he actually took the time to do that. And it takes you a whole 30 seconds, a minute. It doesn't take you much time at all. But 99% of the people never follow up at all. So the fact that you're doing something is awesome, but then you're actually taking the time to stop and just shoot a quick little video, a 10, 15-second video. That's all it takes.
Yeah, and I totally agree. And, it's not even always just video either. We live in such a, 140 characters or less tweet world, or an email world, or a Facebook message world, that we lose a lot of that connection, and I think that's a great thing to do. And I remember, even beyond just video, audio is another one as well. I remember, Chris Farrell sent me a message. I got to pop up on Facebook saying I had a message, and this is going back quite a while ago, and it was a voice message. And of course, at the time, I didn't even know that existed, let alone, and I'm like, that is so cool. And of course, I tend to use that quite a bit now and send voice messages to people because it is so different from just the texts.
Yeah.
And, it can be pretty darn effective. But I love the idea of the video messages, and I wish that, Facebook would add that feature as well. I think that would be, or Twitter or whomever, just add that little feature of, selfie video messages or something. I think that would make a huge, huge difference. And, obviously we can just make the video and send it out like you said, but it would be nice to have some of that functionality built in like that, because I think that could make a big difference. And I've had affiliate marketers send me those before, little videos, thanking me for supporting their product or whatever. And it's a very effective means of doing that.
Yeah. Well, and it's great. I'm really glad that you brought up the audio message thing, because that's something that everybody can do, and most people still today do not realize it's built in. The messaging, the Facebook messaging app for your phone, it actually has a function where down at the bottom when you're typing in your message, right next to it, it has a couple different options. You can do emoticons and all the different things. And one of them is a little audio thing. If you click on that, there's a little red button. Click the button, hold it, and start talking. It creates this message. I do that, and every single person I've done that to comes back going, oh my God, thank you so much. That was awesome. How did you do that? And they're like crazy excited about it. And which actually, that leads me to the next thing that you can use video for, is just to help somebody, show somebody something else. And so you can do it as a screenshot, or you can do it as an actual video, depending on what the thing is. But like for me, and I'm sure for you guys, we live in the geeky world, so we do a lot of technology stuff. And I get people that I meet that aren't as technology savvy as I am. They don't understand what different WordPress plugins are available and all that kind of stuff that's out there. So somebody will ask me a question, and if I can't explain it to them right away, what I'll do is I'm like, hey, you know what? I'll get you instructions on how to do it, and I will come back, and at my computer, I will just shoot a little quick video, kind of a quick 2 or 3 minute how-to video. And if you're used to doing videos, of course we have like Camtasia and ScreenFlow and all that kind of fun stuff. But if you're not, go get Jing or screencast-o-matic.com, You can go there. It's free, and it's not even like you don't even really have to install anything. Go to screencast-o-matic.com, sign up for a free account, and basically you can shoot like 5-minute videos or something like that. And it's just a way you just shoot something real quick saying, okay, here's the example. This is what I'm looking at. And then you just send them a link. And people love it because, you know, some people can understand following directions on a sheet of paper or like on an email, but the video totally enhances it. And not just is it easier for them to understand because they can physically see the process, but on top of that, the fact that they see you took the time to do that adds 10 times the value to it.
Yep.
You know, we look at, you know, somebody who you buy a book and you may spend $10 for the book, but if you want the video that shows you the exact step-by-step process, well, okay, that $10 now became $100. And so just taking 2 or 3 minutes to do a quick little Jing or Screencast-O-Matic video, all of a sudden the value on the other person's side, they're like, wow, you actually took the time to do this? Thank you so much.
Yeah, and I do that quite a bit as well, and it's a very, very effective method. In fact, you know, some of the other people that do coaching and stuff, they always tell me all the time, you can't be doing that. You're conditioning people to get things for free.
Yeah. There's a point where there's a certain amount of validity to that, but there's a certain point where, come on, we're trying to just help each other out.
Exactly.
You can't be greedy at the same time.
No, and I found that to be very, very effective, and you know, it's done quite well for me. And people have, like you said, they're like, "Holy cow, you actually made a video! Wow, I can't believe that."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it doesn't have to be a big one. I mean, it's not like you have to spend a half an hour or an hour doing it. It could be something that's literally a 2-minute video. It takes you longer to actually upload it than it does to actually record it. I mean, I've got one friend who sent me an email trying to do something in Photoshop, and he was like, I'm trying to recreate this, and I don't know how. Can you help me with it? And I opened up Photoshop, did this quick little video. The entire video was 2.3 minutes, I think, and I uploaded it, sent him the link, and said, there you go, here's how to do it. By the way, here's the new file, because, of course, I had to create the new file in order to show him the video anyway.
Right.
So I did it for him and showed him how he could do it next time, and he was ecstatic.
Yeah, and the thing is, you know, if you'd tried to help him through email, you probably would have been doing it over the next 4 hours back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
it actually saved a little bit of time by doing it. So it's effective in that manner as well.
No, definitely. And that actually takes me to kind of the next thing that I like to do too is we have these conversations that we meet people in person or even online. I don't do as much face-to-face networking because I'm not doing as much local stuff, so I'll go to conferences and seminars and stuff, but I'm a networker, so I want to network on a regular basis. So I'm using social media as a tool to find connections, to find people that would be good for us to cross-promote each other and see how we can help each other, maybe mastermind, whatever. But you can only do so much over text. You can only do so much over Facebook messages or email or whatever. So you got to take it to the next level. And I find I actually hate the phone, which is really entertaining because you can turn around and use Skype or Google Hangouts, and I enjoy that. But the phone is the part that I don't like. And so I realized that what if we just turn around and have that Skype call or use Google Hangouts, which is the coolest tool ever, to get face-to-face with somebody, because face-to-face is always the number one way you can build a relationship with somebody. You can get to know them. You can see the reactions when you say something. You can see how they smile, the look in their eyes, or how whatever you said insulted them. You can tell right away, right? So you know how to cater your message and how to talk to them properly and get a reaction and know how the conversation's really going. So we can't necessarily be face-to-face all the time, and I'm talking to people all over the world. So that's where Skype or Google Hangouts comes in. And I just had a conversation with somebody last week that was in Australia. And he actually reached out to me on LinkedIn as a random connection. And I replied back and said, hey, it sounds like we do some of the same kind of stuff. I would love to chat with you. Here's a link to my calendar, and we could do Skype if that works for you. And he booked a time with me. We got on a Skype call, had a great chat. And I've already connected him with somebody else that's in Sydney that I think that they might be able to work together. And so the whole thing was done just over a Skype conversation. And I'll do now Google Hangouts are even better because you can have multiple people and you can take it to even more cool levels of usefulness.
Nice. And we are talking today with Ely Delaney of Your Marketing University, and we're talking about connecting with people using video.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the your website, Your Marketing University. It's a membership site, essentially, isn't it, for your training courses?
Yeah, we have both a regular membership, and then we also have individual training courses, but it's all designed so if you buy one course, you have a spot where you can log in, you get 24/7 access for the rest of your life. Anytime I update a course, I send you an email, say, hey, we just did a new update on it, you get the access to the new stuff, here's a link. That's one of my policies. It's one of my very first mentors taught me that way, to when somebody buys your course, they buy your course for life, so you give them the updates, and so I've always done that. And then when somebody comes and buys a different course, they get the same basic deal. They get to come in and basically have one place where they can say, here's all of my training programs in one centralized location.
Well, that's cool. And then you were mentioning last night you had a call with your members where you did a little training. And really the training is how to grow your business. And you've talked a little bit about that with the networking and the videos, but give us a little teaser on what else is in there.
Okay. Yeah, we have courses like that particular course for the coaching call that I did last night. It's called the Marketing Roadmap. And essentially, in most of the situation, we're in the online marketing world. There's a lot of hype, and there's the latest, greatest, how to make your $1 million on Facebook and blah, blah, blah. And the biggest problem that I find is people will buy these training programs and these pieces of software and all this stuff, and they go and they use them, and they get pseudo halfway results. And they go, oh, well, this wasn't as good as they said it was. But the person who created it got great results, and that's why they were using it. And so it's like, okay, why is it that that person was successful and you weren't? Well, a lot of times it's because you just don't have the basic foundation, some very basic principles in place to really actually know who your client or your true client is, your perfect client avatar, and who you are in order to be more authentic. And so that's the whole point of that course, is to actually be the true you and find the right people that are going to resonate with you and appreciate you for the products and services you are delivering to them. And so that's kind of the core behind that. There's a lot more to it, but that's the beginning point. And then we do the coaching calls. That is actually like a 4-module program, but the coaching calls are there. I've been doing them for 5 years, I think 4 years now, somewhere right around there. And I do them every Tuesday night, with the point that you're going to always come back in a different place at a different point, and it keeps you engaged and keeps you on focus. It's kind of like you're the autopilot in a plane, where the plane is always going off course. The autopilot's to help bring you back on course again. That's what the calls are for, is to keep you on course. We go through and do a half-hour training, have Q&A, stuff like that, so when you've got questions or maybe you're just a little off for a bit because things have changed, it kind of brings you back in the right direction.
Well, even decent golfers get a lesson every now and then, just to, figure out where they've developed some bad habits and how to get back on course. And I noticed you do have a free report on the website, Small Business Marketing Roadmap Report. Mm-hmm. And the website is yourmarketinguniversity.com, which we'll have in the notes. And you bring up something that's really important. I've been a sales guy since I got out of college, and that was 30 years ago. But, I've taken a lot of sales training over the years. The problem I've noticed with a lot of sales training is they say, do this exactly how I tell you to do it, not taking into account the personality of the person. So, I've had courses that say, well, just lie to them. Just, tell a little white lie. Well, you know what? I'm not going to do that because I just don't have a good enough memory. I look like a deer in the headlights. And these aren't bold-faced lies, but just, kind of set them up, kind of make them feel like they're doing this and that. And then you can close them. Well, that's not going to work for me. And I'm just using that as an example. I think it's so important to take into account the personality and strengths and weaknesses of the person, assuming they've got an acumen for sales.
Right, and I totally get that, and that's one thing. My style of training is based around that, really keeping that in mind, and the reason for that is because of the fact that I've had that situation come up. I had a training at one point where the training was actually speaker training that I was considering going in and doing because I'm a speaker. And so I'm like, okay, well, this is what the results I'm already getting on my own. But if I take this actual training, I'm going to be better. But then I realized, and this was because of an exercise that they did of being this over-the-top kind of in-your-face mentality of you've got to be super, super energetic, and I'm not that person. I mean, I'm a laid-back, quite honestly, I'm kind of a laid-back hippie kind of person, right? And so it takes a lot for me to throw out that energy that I have and to be this over-the-top, in-your-face, kind of like the Price is Right when the people go screaming down the aisles and that kind of thing. That's not me.
Yeah.
And I realized in a situation came up where I was like, you know what? That's not me. And no matter what I do, I'm going to be completely 100% uncomfortable and unnatural.
Right.
It's not my authentic self. And so that's when I learned that was not the way, that's not the way everybody is. So how can we change the idea to make it so if you are that person, great, you can take these pieces. And if you're a different person, how do you take these pieces instead? So, as an example with the networking stuff, I've got my new course that I've just put out in the last couple of weeks. It's all about networking and how to connect with the right people. And I created one module for that course with the exact purpose of, I call it the Introvert Survival Guide to Networking, because so many introverts are terrified to get out networking. You say the word networking, and they're like, oh, I got to go meet a bunch of people and socialize, and they literally will start shaking sometimes. And so I put this to say, okay, you do need to learn how to network because this is what's going to help you grow, but here's the tools you can use to make it work for your personality.
Yeah. Well, and I'm an introvert, and for me, an introvert versus an extrovert gets their energy by being around people, an introvert gets their energy by being alone.
Correct.
So, going to networking events, I mean, if you saw me at a networking event, you'd say that guy's not an introvert. Look how extroverted he is. But when I'm done with it, I'm totally exhausted. I just want to take a nap. And so, I've just learned over the years to kind of work around that. I can small talk because I'm practiced at it, but it didn't come naturally for me. So yeah, this is good to know. And I've had so very few sales courses that address that basically what I've done is I've just taken all these sales courses and picked out the stuff that works for me, And
yeah, and that's the way you should do it. And the great thing about it is learning the sales process is good, and you can learn a lot from sales courses and training with professional sales trainers. But always keep in mind that there is a difference, and like you were saying, there's sometimes where they're going to teach you something that either isn't comfortable for you, or it may go against your ethical beliefs, which is kind of like if they're saying, well, just give them a little white lie, that to me, I think is wrong.
I got to talk to my sales manager about that. That old one is a good example.
Exactly.
That old sod,
Yeah, and we've had that, and that's just, it frustrates us. And so what I like to do is I like to switch the whole conversation about, okay, here's the deal. I am in business to make a profit. I am a capitalist. I want to sell you something. I am going to try to sell you something. I'm not going to hide that in any way, shape, or form, but it doesn't mean I have to be a pushy salesman. What I do is I will go through and I'll start having a conversation with somebody and getting to know them and ask them questions. It's like, so what are you doing? And as a marketing, I was like, so what tactics are you using to market yourself? And so I hear what they're doing. It's like, okay, maybe they created a Facebook page, or maybe they're doing a little bit of networking. And I'm like, here's something you might want to try. Try going to this networking event and look for people that do this kind of thing, because they're the same people that are already selling to the same type of customers you are, and you should be able to get together with them and see if maybe you can cross-promote each other. And 9 times out of 10, they'll be like, oh, that is so awesome. Thank you so much. They'll get excited. And then the next question is, so what is it really that you do? I'm like, well, kind of what I just showed you. That's what I do, is I teach entrepreneurs how to market themselves more effectively. And that's a perfect example of one of the things that I would do if I was working with you, is teach you that kind of stuff. And so you notice there's no sale there. There's no pitch. It's just hey, by the way, here's some great information. There's some stuff to help you out. I'm adding value right up front. And then, by the way, yeah, this is what I do for a living.
Our guest today is Ely Delaney. He's a sales trainer, and he uses video quite a bit to do follow-up and build relations. And you're listening to Video Marketing Madness.
Yeah, it's interesting what you brought up there regarding kind of just having the conversation, listening, and then having them come to you. There was actually a product the other day that was kind of built off of that very idea. And it was, hey, you know what? Here's a roadmap to give to your clients on exactly what to do. Mm-hmm. And you give it to them. And, hey, it's just free. Well, guess what? Not a single one of them are going to do it. Mm-hmm. Because they're going to look at that and they're going to go, holy cow, this is what needs to be done.
Right.
And, and then they come to you. And it's a brilliant concept. And we've used it many times in our sales techniques as well. Just educating, showing what needs to be done, and then eventually they say, okay, but you better do this for us because we don't want to do it.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the great thing about that is that if that's a great place to be, because, like, as an example, I have freebie things that I'll give away, like my reports and guides and checklists and things like that. Checklists are awesome because you give them a checklist, a 21-point checklist of the things you need to know before you hire a web designer, and they sit there and they look at that and go, okay, yeah, I don't want to build my own website anymore. I need somebody who can help me with this. And so that's always great. But what I would do is I even give away free trainings to kind of get them started in the right area. And I've had people who've gotten all the way through the entire process and even bought my course on how to build your own website. And then they turn around and say, okay, this is awesome stuff. I went through the program. I'm not going to do it, so I still need somebody to do it for me. Can you do that for me? And it was a no-brainer kind of thing. And they bought into the freebie, so they gave me their email address, and then they actually bought the training course, and then they still came back and said, okay, this is great. How much to just do it for me?
Yeah, it's very effective, and even one of my partners in a lot of the local stuff, Corey, he actually used to go in, and one of the techniques that he would actually use with local businesses is he would say, listen, you know what? I'm not here to sell you anything today, so just don't even think about buying anything. I just want to show you this. Mm-hmm. And, of course, he would teach them concepts on what needed to be done. And, of course, wait, you're not going to sell this to me? You're not going to sell a service to me on this? Well, I'm just here to show you this now. Wait a minute. No, hold on. What if I give you?
Right.
And it's a very, I don't want to say off-putting. That sounds negative, but it takes them off that track of, oh gosh, there's a guy here selling me something. It's just, right. Hey, we're here to educate you today, to show you this, and you can take with it and do what you want afterwards. And it is a very effective way to do things because people do pay a lot more attention at that point, and then they come to you and say, we'd really like you to do this for us because I'm a plumber and I don't want to spend 10 hours a day doing social
mm-hmm.
media. So,
yeah. Well, and it's funny because we think that we have to be pushy. We have to be the salesperson, and there's nothing wrong with asking for the sale. You definitely need to do that at some point, but it doesn't mean you have to be pushy about it. And one of the things is like we do as kind of a sideline thing, and it's more because we see people needing it more than because it's not our primary business. Is we've been Infusionsoft users since 2007, and so we run it. It runs the back end of our system, and you're giggling now, so I'm sure you've probably experienced Infusionsoft and heard the term Confusionsoft, right? Because it's a complicated beast. It's I like to say it's like the Rolls Royce of the internet marketing world, but it's not. It's more like a tank. It's not as elegant as a Rolls Royce, right. But it is amazingly powerful when you get it set up right, and that's why I love it so much. But what happens is that I do a lot of I'm looking through sites and I'm parts of groups on LinkedIn and Facebook and stuff, and I get people to ask us, so I'm considering switching over to Infusionsoft. What are your thoughts? And what ends up happening is they get bombarded by all these people who sell Infusionsoft saying, oh, give me a call. I'll be happy to help you out with it. I can get you set up, and I can get you some great deals that you can't get directly from the company and blah, blah, blah. And I just had this happen where somebody was they posted that question, and it was like the vultures coming in. It's actually not even the vultures. I like to say it was more like the hyenas, because vultures at least wait till you're dead before they start picking the flesh off your bones. And these guys are just bombarding them with sales pitches. And I was like, okay, that's not cool. And I got in there and said, okay, here's the deal. Yes, I'm an affiliate. Yes, I help clients set it up. But here's what you need to think about. We've been using it for this long. This is how we use it. This is why we love it. Here's the things that I think that are complicated and could be improved on it. I gave him this probably a 4 or 5 paragraph thing. It was a really long post that I normally wouldn't post that much, but I posted this really long thing explaining the ins and outs and pluses and minuses and all that kind of stuff. And I said, hey, if you got any questions, let me know. Feel free just to shoot me a message. And all these people still kept in with the bombarding of, come, use me, or, hey, my friend can get you a great deal and all this kind of stuff. Lo and behold, what ends up happening, he shoots me a message. We have a great conversation. And as of last night, we're putting together the project for him. He got signed up because of us through our system. I'm going to get paid there. This is going to be a multi-$1,000 setup because he's got some pretty complicated stuff over time, maybe not all at once, but over time we're going to be doing this. It's a long-time relationship that's building because I just offered him advice and didn't pitch him. I wasn't pushy. I just said, hey, I'm here for you. Here's what I like. Here's what I don't like. Here's things to keep in mind. If you got more questions, let me know.
Nice. That's a very effective way to do things, I think.
Yeah, that's sort of my style too. I do a lot of cold calling, and I've always worked with a national audience. It's been banks for a long time, and now I do attorneys as well. Banks was not online marketing; it was something else. But attorneys is an online marketing program. At my age, I don't want to travel a lot anymore, so it's a lot of cold calling, and I set it up in a number of different ways. But then when I do call them, when I say set it up, I'll send them some information first, or they've responded to an email, one of the two. But when I follow up with a call, I just say, hey, can I tell you a little bit about it? And I got to tell you, I'm more of a marketing guy than a sales guy, but if you let me tell you a little bit about it, I'd appreciate it. It disarms, if anything I can do to disarm them in the beginning is always a good thing. And then, I'll tell them a little bit about it and ask some questions. And now, a sales trainer would say, well, you need to do this and you need to do that and da-da-da-da-da. Maybe it's not the best way of doing things. But, it's always worked for me, pretty much, so.
Yeah, and it's great because usually those of us that succeed more, we do it that way. It's like we're not the hardcore in-your-face sales guy. It's like we have a product or service that adds value. Here's what it does. Here's why it's great. And, how can we help you? If you got questions, let me know. If it's right for you, cool. Here's the buy button. Here's how much.
Well, and when I'm talking to folks, too, I've done a little research on them. I know how specifically we can help them, as opposed to something general. So that always helps as well, And it plays well into my style.
Right, definitely.
So, yeah. You do a podcast, right?
Yes, I do. Mm-hmm. It's called Driving Your Marketing. You can find it at drivingyourmarketing.com. And what I do is I bring in other marketers. I also bring in some people that wouldn't really qualify themselves as marketers, but are they're just doing cool things with their business, and that's getting them some really great results. But the idea behind it is my kind of mantra is to simplify the complex when it comes to marketing, because I have people that I've actually asked when I'm doing speaking gigs, I'm like, okay, how many of you love marketing? And very few people raise their hands. And usually the ones that do are the other web designers, the marketing people, the social media people, whatever, that are in the room. And a good portion of them are there just to figure out what Eli's doing today. And so I asked the question, I'm like, okay, so, nobody raised their hands. Why? What is it you don't like about marketing? And a lot of the answers I get is it's scary, it's complicated, it's has to be expensive, and I've actually had people say it's black magic and voodoo before. I really have, and so I'm like, okay, this is the bad dilemma, because we have that stigma in the world of that sales and marketing is a bad thing because then you're being pushy, and the stereotypical sleazy used car salesman mentality. And so my goal is to try to get over that mindset and say, okay, this stuff doesn't have to be pushy, it doesn't have to be salesy, it doesn't have to be complicated or expensive. Here's things that you can do on your own. And this is how you can get started. And here's how you can be more educated in what you do and more strategic in what you do. And so that's what I'll do is I bring in other people that are doing cool things in the marketing world and saying, okay, let's teach people stuff. Let's show them this doesn't have to be expensive, complicated, or scary. This is something they can get out step 1, step 2, step 3, and go do it today.
Didn't I see on your website that there was upcoming events and you can jump into a webinar if you want to? This would be the yourmarketinguniversity.com.
Yeah, I've got a webinar coming up tomorrow, as a matter of fact, at 10 a.m. Pacific time. It's called Marketing with a Vision, and you can, if you go to our main website, click on the upcoming events, it'll be there. I've got some other stuff that I'm working on that I'm hoping to fill up that calendar a little bit more on the public side, because I have a bunch of things going on in the back end, but not as much like the open webinars. But I do those about once a month, where I do completely free training. It's like, come on, join us, have some fun, learn some cool stuff. And just like I've been talking about in our entire conversation, if you like it, you resonate with it, and you think that I can help you do more, I'd love to have you on board. If not, that's cool. Let's just still be friends.
Yeah. Well, and that's the way. And I've always found if you do that first, the money comes. Don't worry about the money.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a heart of a servant and you can monetize it, I mean that's important. Then
right.
The money will come. Don't worry about it. Otherwise, So good stuff.
Definitely.
And you got a blog on that website too.
Correct.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yep, and I update that usually once a week, and then upon occasion I'll bring in some other experts as well that have good stuff to share. I'll have them contribute guest articles and stuff from time to time.
Nice.
Ray blogs a lot, Steve said facetiously.
I update my blog also once a year.
I don't have a blog.
I'm pretty awful at it, actually. But, hey, you know what? We can't be experts in everything, right?
That's right. That's
mm-hmm.
right. Of course, how many videos do you do a week, Ray? You do
lots of videos a week. Between videos for clients, videos for training, and videos for promos, I'll probably do 3 or 4 a day a lot of times, so.
Yeah, well, and that's the great thing. A lot of people don't realize that you could you can do that basic video of a simple how-to, or spending 2 or 3 minutes on camera, even just using your webcam or your phone, and saying, hey, here's a cool little trick of something that I've done. Hopefully, you get some value out of it, and then it can be 3 to 5 minutes. It doesn't have to be very long. Write up one simple paragraph, kind of as a bio of what it is, and put that on your blog. Now you've got an extra blog.
And technically, I do that.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, if you're putting up a video and writing out a really good description on YouTube, that's a blog right there.
It's essentially a blog.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm cutting little videos all the time. That's in many ways how I reach out to people. But I've got a really good webcam and a couple of trouble lights. It looks fine. It doesn't look too bad.
Works well.
Yeah.
This day and age, it works very well. People are used to that kind of thing. I mean, heck, you watch TV now, and they're shooting TV with GoPros and.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. It's amazing what you see out there.
Yeah, and of course the most important thing of video is the audio as far as the technical side. But as long as you're sharing good information and entertaining people, everybody's probably heard the term edutainment. Well, it's education that's entertaining at the same time. Throw in your personality, be obnoxious, tell a joke or two, whatever it is that works for you. Obnoxious, yeah. Obnoxious is fun.
Me?
For me, I like to say sarcasm. It's a way of life. And when I started my podcast, originally it was actually short videos that I did. And what it originally back then, I was a speaker, and I loved getting in front of groups and speaking, but speaking to the camera, I actually had a hard time with. And so what I would do is I had a Kodak DI8 camera. I hit the record button, and in my car, where you have those little, you can get like a phone or GPS holder that can fit into your air vents. Mm-hmm. I had one of those, and I would hit record, pop it on there so it was pointed at me, start driving, and just talk while I'm driving like I'm talking to somebody in the seat next to me. And I would share tips, tricks, resources, and a lot of times the whole point of it was it got started with somebody would do something really stupid with their marketing, and so I would share that story. I was good about not saying who it was, but if they saw it, they knew exactly who I was talking about. And
I actually used to do the same thing. I used to have used to mount my iPhone on a little suction cup thing on the window. Do the same thing.
Yeah.
Until he rear-ended someone.
No, until I realized I never drive anywhere. So
yeah, you kind of have to actually drive in order for that to work very well.
I'm just going to drive around the block 2 or 3 times just for.
Oh, there's Ray doing another video.
Yeah. And
in fact, there's a guy up in Canada, and I can't remember his name. I've used him as an example many times. He's a real estate agent, and that's what he does all the time. When he's driving from one place to another, he records videos about real estate.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Very, very effective marketing, and he was doing it years ago when it was like, wow, that's very unique at the time. So,
very cool. I love that, and as a real estate agent, that's huge because
it's still somewhat unique.
Yeah, well, and real estate agents are a dime a dozen. So how do we find the ones that we can actually connect with? Again, it goes back to that relationship. And as a real estate agent, if you have that ability, go out there and say, okay, hey, I'm getting ready to go pick up some clients for a showing today. I just want to do this really quick video. By the way, if you're getting ready to put your house up for sale, here's a quick tip on how to prep it before you have somebody coming into your house to take a look at it.
Yep.
And so it's a relevant story and an education piece at the same time.
It's funny because I often say to my wife, man, I need to just go become a real estate agent because these people are terrible. I could outsell them. I know what I'm doing. They don't know what they're doing.
And does she listen to you?
No, I don't even know if she's heard it. But,
yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. But no, I mean, honestly, and it's true that real estate agents themselves they're a dime a dozen, but there are very few who are actually good at that. Most of them are people just stick a yard sign in and sit in the office, answer the phone, and hope they make some money. But there's very few that actually understand real marketing, understand what they're marketing. And I used to train a lot of real estate agents. That was one of the things I used to do. I used to train them with media and things like that. And they used to be surprised by some of the things I would say because I'd tell them all the time. I said, how do you make more money in this business? It's like, well, you got to sell more houses. I said, no. I said, you need more clients. You need more houses to sell.
Right.
The houses are going to sell themselves, but only one person's going to buy it. You can't sell the same house to 50 people, but you could sell 50 people's houses. So you need to be marketing to the people that will hire you as much as you're marketing the house itself. And they don't, a lot of times they don't get that side of things. They want to sell a house.
Yeah.
Well, you can't sell a house unless you have a listing.
Right. Well, and that's what's really funny about that is that a lot of times real estate agents also tend to forget that it's not about the certifications that they have. This happens in a lot of different areas, but real estate agents tend to be that way because they are required to have certain numbers of CEUs and all that kind of stuff. So their certifications are a very big. For them, that's their selling point, and it really needs to not be that. And it's one time I was actually speaking for a group of realtors. There's like 30 to 40 realtors in the room, and so I'm talking to them and I'm teaching them, what is it that makes you stand out, makes you unique? Because guess what? Every one of you is a realtor. So at this point, you're all the same to me. So what is it that's going to make you stand out and make me want to talk to you when I'm going to buy my next house? And in this process, and this goes back to that whole relationships and, the being authentic, I'm like, okay, how many of you are dog lovers? And I had one person raises his hand. And it's really weird because I ask that quite often in my presentations. And generally, it's very close to a 50-50. Half of the room are dog lovers, half are not. And that's pretty close, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less, but usually pretty close to half. This one time, one person. And I'm like, okay, obviously I stuttered or something here because that's never happened before. So I kind of reframed the question, asked it again. I was like, okay, how many of you really love dogs? And one guy raises his hand again. I'm like, wow, okay, this is going to put this in so much perspective because it just blows me away. But you guys just made my life easy right now. If I'm going to go decide, okay, I need to find a realtor that can help me find my next home, I'm going with him. And the look, I mean, these guys were like death ray looks on their eyes. They're like, well, why would you do that? I've got all these qualifications, and I've been doing this for this many years more than he has. And, I mean, they were getting kind of vicious, actually. And I was like, okay, so here's the deal, though. None of those things actually really mean anything to me. But I am a dog guy. My dogs are a very big, very important part of my family. I know that if we start talking, and he's a dog guy and I'm a dog guy, and we start talking about our puppies, he's going to go out, he's going to be looking for a new place for me. And whether it's conscious or not, he's going to look for a place that's off the main road because it's less busy for traffic. He's going to pay more attention to the fence to make sure that the dog can't get out. He's going to make sure that it's got a bigger backyard so the dog has room to play. And whether those are conscious or not, he's going to be thinking about those things. And because I think that way as well, I'm going to be conscious of him thinking those things. Therefore, he's going to do a better job than the rest of you are.
Yeah, right.
And they're just like, oh, they all of a sudden it clicked for them.
Yeah, and you know, I tend to find that same issue with businesses like dentists, because they always want to, well, wait, I want you to feature my Super Tooth-O-Matic 38,000 because it's brand new, and you know, okay, but I don't know what a Super Tooth 38,000 is, and nobody else that's watching this video knows what it is either because we don't care.
Right, and that's the key right there. You don't care. I want to go in and out
to do a good job with my teeth, regardless of what tool you're using.
You want to have a nice big smile and be in as little pain as possible in the process. That's pretty much the gist of it.
Yeah, but you're right. You know, they're much more into the equipment they have and this because they're impressed by it, and other dentists might be impressed by it. But guess what? The other dentists aren't coming to get their teeth done and paying you. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
If you're a dentist marketing to other dentists as your customers, that's the type of message you should have. But otherwise, it just doesn't work.
And, and that can be effective too because you always go to the dentist with the worst teeth. Because it means the other guy's the one who works on them.
Yep.
Well, I remember back in the days of selling commercial printing, we had a sales guy that was always handing out equipment lists. Here's the equipment we've got. And for the average guy buying a brochure, they didn't care, you know. But what I did learn is you had to discover when that did make a difference, because some buyers were very savvy and they wanted to know what kind of equipment you had, and that's how they made their decision. You know, buyers at agencies or Union Railroad, that type of thing. But it came down to just finding out what their pain points were. What do they need? You know.
You know, and it can also work in the opposite if you focus too much on that as well, because you know, there was a guy, and I don't remember who it was that was talking about this, but he used to do, you know, on-stage seminars, and he would talk about, you know, actually it was wedding videos. That's what it was. It was a wedding video guy. And he said that he would go do these seminars, and somebody would always ask, well, what kind of camera do you use? Oh, I use a Panasonic, you know, whatever. And half the people would get up and leave. Because, oh, I'm a Canon guy, or I'm a JVC guy, or I'm a Sony guy, you know. And so he's like, you know, he wouldn't talk about equipment anymore because it just made certain people, oh, I don't, this guy uses a Canon, he doesn't know what he's talking about, and they'd leave, you know. So a lot of that kind of thing can actually work against you, you know. Oh, gee, our movie theater uses DTX. Well, you know, I want Dolby 7.1, not DTX. So I'm not going there. You know, so it can be very counterproductive if you're not careful with that. You know, it's one of those things where a small amount of knowledge can really hurt.
Yeah.
And, you know, so again, it's, you know, I want to hear more about how white can you make my teeth? How good can you make my teeth feel and look? And, you know, how, you know, can you find me the best deal on a house? I don't care what certifications you have.
Right.
There's a lot of people with certifications that are complete bozos. You know?
And I totally agree with that one. And it's entertaining because you know, some of those things, I think obviously it's important that you know that information to be prepared if somebody asks a question, but you don't need to do that because, you know, we go back to like the print world. Nobody cares what the equipment is. 99% of the people don't know what the equipment is, but if you show them the examples of the brochure that you just did and they go, wow, this is beautiful, now they're sold.
Well designed, it's well printed.
Exactly. And so, and then you can have the information information for those people that want to know. And, like going back to the camera thing, unfortunately, you're going to have a situation where some people are going to be, say Nikon versus Canon as a good example. Right. But the great thing about that is that also gives you an opportunity to open up a conversation too. If they're like, oh, well, I'm more of a Nikon guy. Okay, well, why? Let's talk about that. And then you can ask some questions, and then you might turn around and realize that it was because their brother's friend's cousin told them that Nikon was the best thing out there, and guess what? They had no clue what they were actually talking about. And so now you have an opportunity to educate, which is really the goal of everything we do.
And of course, and we see that all the time still, Mac versus PC in our world is a big thing. And actually, and that, to an extent, it actually is kind of a legitimate thing, because oftentimes you need to know, well, gee, this software only runs on a Mac or only runs on a PC. So literally you have, an audience that's kind of shut off on half of it, whether they like it or not. And, because I run into that. People are asking me to promote software all the time. And a lot of times if it's just one platform, I don't do it. Because I know, in the real world, we know, 70, 80, 90% are going to be Windows. But in our world, it's probably closer to 50-50. And, I don't want to alienate half my audience with either one. Now, there are some exceptions. If it's an exceptionally good software that really does something, then I will promote it. But a lot of times I won't. And, I know that upsets people sometimes that want me to promote something, but I know half my audience automatically are going to be like, oh, why are you promoting just Windows stuff, or vice versa? Well, and the other thing you don't want to get a reputation in is just rolling out everything you look at. You got to do some evaluation and say, hey, this is going to help you.
Right.
So. Absolutely.
Well, and like in that whole thing of the Mac versus PC, it's funny that we got into this conversation, because I've been a PC guy for years, and just this last October is when I switched to a Mac. And I finally was like, okay, you know what? I think it's time. I'm ready. I've wanted to for a while. There are some pluses and some minuses to both sides. And just like you're talking about with the software, there's a big learning curve of which software is going to work. Like on my PC, I used Camtasia, and I loved it. I got Camtasia for the Mac, and I really did not like it at all.
Oh, it's because it's terrible.
Exactly.
I honestly, I think if Camtasia was honest, I think that they would come out and just say, look, we know everyone's going to buy ScreenFlow, so we just threw this out there.
I really wish that they would make it a good program for the Mac, because there is so much opportunity for it. There's some things about ScreenFlow that I don't like that I really loved about Camtasia. Yeah. So they've got a lot of opportunity with it, but now I'm in that situation of, okay, I'm still figuring out the pluses and the minuses to each side. And literally, I am sitting here right now. I've got a message that was popped in by somebody that I know on Facebook asking about Mac laptops. Well, now I have an opportunity to go in and have a conversation with her, saying, okay, I just switched to a Mac, and here's what I've got. Here's what I, the research that I did before I bought mine. So hopefully that's helpful to you. Right. And so, being able to do that is great, because then you can have a conversation with somebody and not be a snob about it. That's where some of these guys come in and it's like, well, Mac is just the best. Well, not really. It's not. There are some definite advantages. There are some disadvantages as well. When it comes to the hardware, I think it's the hardware just blows everything on PC away, but the compatibility is the flip side, So we got both sides of it, and it's a great way to have a good conversation without being a snob at the same time.
No, I agree. And and it's difficult for me because I've never been a PC guy. Somebody hands me a PC and I can barely turn the thing on, let alone use it. And
that's why I use a PC, because I've been on PCs for 20 years, and I can I can fix 99% of what goes wrong with it all the time.
Yeah. That's a good one. I like that.
Although my perception is, if you're going to get a laptop and you're a videographer, get a Mac. It's just a better operating system for a laptop, where you're going to do a lot of graphics and videos and stuff.
It's funny. I've never had a laptop before. I've never owned one. And my son and my daughter, we got them laptops for Christmas. And, man, I'll tell you, I sat there and I said, I really want one of these things. Because it's not, I mean, I've got my iPad and I love my iPad, but there's still limitations to certain things using an iPad that the laptop does much better as far as writing emails and Aweber. Aweber is absolutely ferocious. Ferocious? I just made up a word. Absolutely horrendous on an iPad. Using it on an iPad is
Hiroshima and atrocious.
Yeah, it's torture to use Aweber on an iPad.
Oh,
it just doesn't work right, and it's a big mess. But a laptop, man, it's nice to just go and sit on the couch and be able to do some of that kind of work while watching Undercover Boss, or I don't know why I said that, but
Game of Thrones.
But
gaming videos.
Yeah. Well, and I think that when it comes to that kind of stuff too, is that like technology, some people think that they can, run their business off their tablet, and I still have a hard time with that. I am a technology geek. I have my tablet, but I still can't. There's still a lot of things that I can't do off of a tablet that I could maybe make them work, but it's going to take me 10 times as long because it's just uncomfortable. And I'm like, okay, that's not efficient. That's the whole point of having these tools, is to make life efficient. And now you're just making it harder for yourself for the point of doing it on this cool toy. And so, yeah, I'm all for, get a laptop, use that. And if you, out and about and type in, replying to basic emails and things like that, a tablet's great for things like that. But for like writing emails, no, not going in line. I mean, even using it, like if you are out and about and don't need to pull up your laptop, using it to type up an email, but save it as like a Word document or something, then copying and pasting it into your, Aweber or whatever. I would never actually write an email inside of an autoresponder system. I always write it outside and like put it in Google Docs or something,
Yeah.
Yep.
But and that's not an insult to the iPads and tablets of the world, because I love it. I think it's one of the greatest things I own. But it's just and it's not the tablet per se. It's the people that have the software. They haven't created what they need to create. I've complained to Aweber multiple times. It's like, hey, you now released your second mobile app, and I still can't write an email using my tablet. Come on, great, I can check stats, but you know what? I can check stats on a website just as easily. I can't write my emails on my tablet very well.
I got a tablet for fun, I just, it enhances my TV watching experience. Who's that guy? I'm going to look him up. Check Facebook, check Twitter, read a book. So, good for me. Thanks for sharing, Steve.
In fact, the people are probably sitting there going, what the heck are these people talking about now?
We have a tendency to get off task. Well, Eli, thanks a lot. We appreciate you being on the show today. This is a lot of good information, and I got some good ideas about how to use video in my sales efforts, so thanks very much.
Oh, no problem. It's a pleasure. I have fun with this stuff, and that's the key. Is all the stuff that we're doing. The goal is to have fun while you do it, because if you're not having fun, get the hell out.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. And speaking of that, somebody was talking about this morning, which is, setting up for retirement, planning for retirement, getting ready for retirement. And I just sat there and I just kind of laughed. I'm like, I don't care about retirement. I'm retired now. Yeah. The idea of retirement is you're not really working and you're enjoying your life. Well, guess what? That's why I guess I'm retired, because, that's what I'm doing. And I don't plan on ever stopping. Maybe I'll automate more things as I get older. Who knows? But I don't plan on stopping. I'll probably be 80 years old and, sending out my email for some new product. But
automate going to the bathroom.
There you go. So it's, if you love what you do, you're not really working. And I love what I do. I can spend more time doing fun things when I need to, and I can work any time that I have to, so I can spend time with family during the day, and it's a great thing. And so and every business should be like that. If you're a plumber and you love plumbing, then you should be enjoying it. Yeah. And the big problem is, I know that people get stuck in all the minutia of stuff that has nothing to do with plumbing or nothing to do with chiropractic work or dentistry. So it's the biggest thing you can do is get somebody that can help you to do that efficiently and as inexpensively as possible while still having quality.
There you go.
So, there you go.
Love it.
Hey, do you got a tip of the week, Ray?
Of course I have a tip of the week. In fact, it changed about 5 minutes into this program.
Okay, well, hold on. And now, there we go. Tip of the week with Ray, the video guy. Okay, enough.
I was going to say, I think it's lost half the audience. They're like, oh, no, not that 10-minute thing again.
Yeah, enough. Okay, go ahead.
So today's tip is actually a little bit different than when I started the show because I changed it to talk more about the Facebook voice messaging, since we talked about how great that is. So I want everybody to check this out. Facebook voice messaging is the easy way to send voice messages back and forth on Facebook. And since nobody even knows you can do this, it's a great advantage, and it's something that will really surprise people, and it gives a little bit of personality to Facebook, whereas text doesn't quite come across that way. So you may be wondering, well, I've never even seen this option. How do I do it? Well, we've got you covered there. All I want you to do is go to YouTube, type in Facebook voice messaging, and you'll see I've got a video right at the top of the Google search, the YouTube search there. You'll see my pretty face right at the top. And I show you all about how to do it on Android, how to do it on iPhone with links to the apps that you need for that. So check it out because it is a very, very effective tool for marketing and for messaging with other people. So check that out. There you go.
I'll
search it. Facebook voice messaging.
I'll put the link in the show notes too.
Excellent. So you'll enjoy it. And you can search Facebook voice message as well, and it also shows up at the top of there.
How about,
that's my tip. Start using it.
And so it Android and
there's an Android app and an iPhone app, and that's one thing to mention too. This only works on the phones. They do not do this inside of Facebook on your computer. So you can't sit up in front of your microphone and do it. You have to do it on your phone.
How about a tablet?
Tablet, you should be able to do that. I think on the iPad though, I think it's just the phone app blown up on the iPad. It's not a specifically iPad version or anything like that. So you should be able to do that on the iPad because it is the same app.
Cool. All right.
Indeed.
All righty. Well, it's the end of another fine episode.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the online marketing radio show, Video Marketing Madness with Ray the Video Guy, and I'm Steve Sleeper, and our guest today has been Ely Delaney, and he is Delaney. So you can tell I'm in Nebraska. I called you Devaney. He's a legend as a coach, Bob Devaney.
Got it.
But you're Ely Delaney, not Bob Devaney.
Yeah, there is a difference.
There is.
Kind of the same number of letters. So
Yeah.
There's some similarities.
Yeah, some similarities. Of course, you're alive. Coach Devaney passed away a number of years ago.
Well,
I got his autograph one time.
Hey, cool.
And I was at a game and went up into the press box to use the restroom because we had seats in the press box section. There he was. Got his autograph. Anyhow,
nice.
I digress. Yeah, but I've got that autograph downstairs. So anyhow, yeah, Ely, thanks. I mean, Eli's a sales trainer. Like I said before, uses video a lot to build relationships. Today's show made possible by.
Today's show is made possible by Vidneos, VIDNEOS. And this is a new platform that is being put out by Ben Murray with the help of Todd Gross. And it's an interesting little program because it allows you to do a lot of video marketing tasks all in one program. So this includes doing your keyword research for Google, your keyword research for YouTube. You can look up trending to see if a newer keyword is trending currently. And you can also spy on your competition, see what they're doing. And you can check your rankings after you rank your video. And when you want to know how to do a title, tags, and descriptions, well, guess what? It's got a tool in there that helps you to figure out exactly what you're doing and grades you on how well you've done before you put your video up there. And it even has a tool for creating some basic videos that kind of a slideshow style thing, but actually a fairly decent slideshow, and it's very easy to use. So it's a full marketing from creation to research to ranking.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, that sounds like a good program.
It is. I've been using it for a couple of weeks, and it actually works very well. It's a very good program. So you can check out all about that, learn about the bonuses we have available, and that would be at raisebonuses.com/Vidneos, VIDNEOS. and that comes out tomorrow. So if you look today, you'll have to wait till tomorrow morning.
But we'll have that in the show notes as well.
Exactly.
And you can like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Video Marketing Madness. Get plenty of useful tips, and we post the News of the Week articles in there too. And Ray's Facebook Mastermind group is groups/online video marketers. You can get views for your videos and your questions answered and find out about all the latest and greatest stuff that Ray's doing.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, thanks, guys.
All right, you guys all have a great week, and we will see you same bat time, same
He's
bat
Ray
channel.
the video guy, yeah, Ray the video guy. His skill is where it's at, even if he's a little fat. He's filled with video expertise and has so much knowledge that you need. His YouTube ninja tricks can make your marketing so sick. He's Ray the video guy, yeah, Ray the video guy.